Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. This is going to be an audio response to an email that I received from a survivor, and she will be remaining anonymous here. All right, so I get so many emails, guys, and if you have ever emailed me, please forgive me if I, have not gotten back to you just yet, but I get pulled in like a million directions on a day-to-day. And, I never know what emergency sessions along with the regular sessions. It's just so much going on, guys, with the coaching, the support group, and everything else that I have going on in my life. So please bear with me if you've ever sent an email, and I will get to you as soon as I can. All right. But I do think that making these audios and our videos will help me knock some of them out a lot quicker than if I had to sit there and type it and then edit it for typos, and all of this stuff would take a whole lot more time. All right, so this will be more like me just having that quick conversation with you and telling you, and then we can keep moving, right? So I hope that this helps this survivor. So let's go ahead and get into her email. She says, I watched your video on the topic mentioned above, and it really hit home for me. Sidebar, she is talking about the topic of having a baby with a narcissist. All right. Then she continues to say, specifically the part in which you said they really show out once they get you pregnant and you decide to keep the child. You see, I was a socialite in the West Coast, had a whole bunch of money, cars, you name it. And from the moment I met this man, within 2 months, he was talking about wanting to have kids with me. You see, I've already had an abortion with a previous partner, and I simply did not want to have kids unless I was married. Plus, I was living a pretty fast life, so I wasn't ready. Speed things up, I get pregnant within 11 months of the relationship and wanted to have an abortion. He used my last abortion to accuse me of wanting to kill another baby. Obviously, that statement hit home, so I not only got suckered into having the child, but also leaving the West Coast to move into his hometown in Oregon. Oh boy, it was hell. First, it was slight or direct insults with me. Wait a minute. Boy, oh boy, it was hell. First, it was slight or direct insults with me. Okay. Kicking him out, and he was always wanting to come back to the house. Speed things up again to me catching him in bed with another woman with my 2-month-old son. He no longer wanted me. He discarded me in front of the girl. He came back home, but I opened up a can of worms because he came back physically abusing me and took advantage of me in every way. I escaped a couple of months shy of my son turning 2, but it's almost harder dealing with him now that we have a kid together because I don't have a clean break. He got with a girl less attractive than me who has a kid. Funny, he never wanted to take care of his own. Playing Father of the Year and Big Kicker even proposed to her in less than a year in the shirt I bought him while we were together. In my saying all of this, I feel like he trapped me. Don't you think? He texts once in a blue moon claiming he misses my son, but doesn't provide any financial support because he thinks I'm balling like I used to. Please. And refuses to come visit without the girl and her child present. So it's been a year and he hasn't seen him. Like, damn, he chooses to propose to and me to have his kid. I think she's saying he chose her to propose to and me to have his kid. I guess why? He's gotten another girl pregnant, not the one he's with. I guess she got pregnant right after I left, so he had the baby while with this girl, but didn't want the girl to keep the child. Which in your videos makes no sense in my situation? Why did he choose me? All your best. And then she signs her name. Whew. Were you guys able to follow me there? Because that was a lot. That was a lot. But none of it surprises me, guys. I've heard it all, and I've had my own experiences with the fuckery. Okay? So let's go ahead and, talk about this. Narcissists, first of all, this is what I'm going to say. Narcissists are reckless to begin with. They're very reckless. Like if anyone goes and hires a private investigator or start to just peel back the layer onions, they will see a trail of catastrophes, a trail of drama, a trail of fails, a trail of dropping the ball, a trail of them running from accountabilities and responsibilities. They're very, very reckless people. So I'm just going to say that right off the rip. Now, there are times when the narcissist gets that new supply pregnant and it wasn't intentional. It's just their recklessness. There are times when it's just them having unprotected sex with everybody like they would be anyway. And then, of course, that provides the opportunity for a baby to be conceived, especially if the woman is not on birth control. And then there are times, just like what she said in here, within 2 months, he says, I want to have a baby. You know why? Because you must have had the supply that he wanted. And like you said, you were on the West Coast. You had a whole bunch of money and cars, you name it. And he was licking his chops the first time he seen it. And he was setting you up. He was like, oh my gosh, I need this in my life forever. But he knows that he doesn't want to commit to you through marriage, or he'll try to get it any way that he can. That's what you ladies don't understand as well. All right. So this is going to sound like I'm jumping all over, but I'm not. Just try to follow me on this. If the narcissist thinks they can get you through pregnancy, that can avoid them having to marry you to get the supply. Okay, let me say that again. If the narcissist thinks that they can get you through pregnancy, then that could avoid them having to marry you to get that supply. See, this new supply that he's with, she might be on bullet tight birth control. And whatever she has to offer him that this narcissist wants, and she might have made it really clear to him, look, I'm on birth control and I ain't having nobody's baby out of wedlock. I'm telling you that right now. So he knows if that supply means that much to him, he's going to have to propose to her to get her locked in. Now, I don't know the conversation that you had with a narcissist around sex and around birth control, besides you confiding in him something very vulnerable and intimate about you, which he later used to manipulate you. If that was the fullest extent to him, like, you know what, I don't want to have a baby out of wedlock. You said that, but I don't know if you took the precautions to try to prevent it as much as you could have, And I don't know your medical. I don't know if you could be allergic to some type of birth controls, or this one doesn't work for your body type, or, I don't know all of that. So, or if you thought you weren't that fertile, I don't know all of that, sweetie. But if he just knew that you didn't want to have a baby out of wedlock, but he didn't have to wear a condom, or you weren't using something else, or you guys were just relying on withdrawal method, I'm really not sure what would happen. But in his mind, if you told him, I don't want to have a baby out of marriage, but I'm not on birth control right now, then he could easily lie to you and say, well, you know what, I'll just pull out, sweetie. But he's coming to you a little bit every time. and not telling you that and acting like he's not, or he's saving some for you to make it appear as though you could see that, right? So you think it's all of it and it's not, and it's kind of walking that fence, and he all along knows that he's setting you up. And then even if you were using condoms, he could have been supplying them and poking holes in them. Look, men have done this, just like women trap men. Men can trap a woman as well. But he definitely thought he hit the jackpot with you. But a part of a narcissist is they suck you dry too. Like they get their hands on you for what you have, but they're sucking it out of you at the same token, and they're not putting anything back in there. And, once he was able to do all of that to you, he just got you to just step right on into his terms at that point. He got you to leave where you were living and go to his hometown, come closer into his playground. And then he really got trifling, and he timed that up because he already knew that other girl was waiting there. I'm telling you, he already knew about that other girl. But he probably felt like, you know what? You fell off, because you had a baby. Sometimes, when a woman, just like when a woman has a baby and she's working in corporate America, she needs that maternity leave and all of that stuff. And that might make her feel like she's falling off because she has to take time off, and that's how women can be vulnerable when they have careers and they have businesses that they're running and they take time off from motherhood. All right. So he had that other girl there, and he just didn't care, because you can be giving him everything he wants. But if he meets somebody else that has even more than you to offer, he's definitely going to do you dirty and jump ship. Once that other person gives him the signals that he can jump ship to her, that's exactly what he's going to do. So he's seen your status, he's seen everything you had, and he wanted that for life. But to him, men like this, they're going to trap you one way or another. They're like, okay, either I'll get her through a baby or I'll get her through marriage. And they prefer a baby, because then at least they can still be single and go be with other people and then pull that daddy card out. And that's why he's talking all of that BS with you. Talking about let me go in here. I don't want to put words in his mouth. Claiming to miss your son, but doesn't provide for him financially because you got it. And that's what I've known narcissists like this. They get with well-to-do women, and they expect you to keep it, to hold it down. And then they expect you to be satisfied with him just popping up every now and then, probably even sleeping with you when he does, and then back to his primary source, because he has you on a bookshelf, you and your child. And I tell this to people all the time. When the narcissist is love bombing you, they're love bombing your child. When they devalue and discard you, though, they're devaluing and discarding that child as well. And that's why he had no respect for your 2-month-old son when you caught him in the bed with that woman. And, I guess at that point, the universe was just literally screaming at you now, like they're making it crystal clear to you where this guy stands with you. All right. So why did he choose you? I hope that I've made that very clear. He's seen everything that you had, and he's seen your status, and he wanted to lock you in. He wanted to be connected to you forever. You're forever in his family tree once you bore someone else's child. All right. And then you said, did he trap you? Yes and no. I'm going to keep it real with you. Yes and no to that. You say it feels like he trapped you. Well, because he was plotting. That's why you're seeing now, or you're realizing how calculated he was about this. And just like women who are calculating with a man that she wants to trap to have a child to secure her bag to get that child support for, 20 up to 22 years, I heard, So yeah, you feel trapped because he was plotting on you. but it is not 100% of a trap because, you went along with some things with him, sweetie. You gave up a lot of your power to him. And that's going to be something that you're going to have to face, because, he didn't put any guns to your head per se, but you were just operating out of, you were being reactive to his manipulation, basically. So you weren't as strong as you could be within yourself, in spite of, having the money and the cars and everything. Perhaps your emotional maturity, it didn't allow you to make the best decisions. Because guess what? When you have all of that, that means there's some work going behind that, unless, you had things handed to you on a silver platter. I don't know how you came into your money, but you said socialite. So that makes me feel like, maybe your parents could have been someone, or maybe you could have, made your own name for yourself. It could go either way still, being a socialite. But when you have a lot to lose, and that's going to be the lesson in this case right here. When you have a lot, when you're bringing so much to the table, you got to really make sure that other person that you're dealing with, is on point and is thorough. You have to really take your time with them. Because you're saying within 2 months, he was love bombing you, but you got on his time. And I don't know if it was just a rush for you. And I don't know if you were, in that place of just really wanting that relationship, and he brought that feeling back to you again, and it felt good and you got carried away. But this is what I tell survivors all the time. You can enjoy a moment. You can enjoy a great date. You can even enjoy some great sex with someone and not get carried away with it, though, and still have a reasonable amount of your logic in the picture that you could protect yourself and have a shield. All right. And just moving forward here, I just want to say as well that, this abortion thing, he certainly manipulated you with that. But at the end of the day, it's always your body. It's your body, and it's going to be your decision, and it's going to be between you and God. Because you see what he's doing. And I know you're probably like, well, what good does that do me now? I already had the child. But you know what? If you're ever in any type of situation remotely like that again, you can always do what you have to do. You're the one that have to be in those shoes. Let's just put it that way. So don't allow other people who don't have to be in those shoes make those decisions. And even with him being a dad, guess what? He doesn't have to carry the child. And now that he's off with someone else, he could pretend like this child doesn't even exist. I'm quite sure he has girls on the rope that don't even know that you're somewhere with his child. Because narcissists are good for not even acknowledging their own children, because then that brings up questions. Well, why aren't you with him? The child is only 2. What happened in that relationship? And of course, they'll lie and say that everything was your fault. Okay. But yeah, let me just read this last statement here, and you said he refuses to come visit you without the girl and her child present. Well, this could be a few things here, because I'm just on the latter part of your email. This girl, she must really, she's wearing the pants here. That's one angle of it. He's doing that to appease her, so she won't feel like you're a threat. Or he could just be lying to say that, knowing you won't want the girl and the other girl there, the girl and her child there. And that will turn you off and say, you know what, if you can't come by yourself, don't come at all. He could be banking on you doing that and letting him off the hook to come visit the child. And then the other thing is, it could be him trying to block you. If he feels like you still want him on some level, having somebody else there and their child, it definitely takes any type of romance out of this. So, his purpose for trapping you and setting you up, basically, because this is what they're doing, setting people up, is to be able to have access to you and your assets, you know, your money and your cars and things. It was never about romance and sex and making you a wife. So this is why we have to be so careful when we're having sex outside of people with our husband, and which most people have premarital sex nowadays, it's true. But being very careful about that, because these men are looking for meal tickets and looking to set women up too. And this did not just start. You know, men have not just started doing that, guys. All right. Like, he was vicious and cold hearted. Like, listen, that he discarded you in front of the girl. Okay. Like, that was very, very cold. Like, if that should tell you everything you need to know about who you're dealing with here. All right. The best thing I can tell you in this situation is to take your lessons and keep it moving. You know, understand that this person has no empathy, and that's exactly how he treated you, with someone that has no empathy. All right. And now you have a child to raise. Just understand that, you know, this isn't a death sentence to you, and your life isn't over. I mean, you have one child. All right. You have one child. I don't know how old you are, but you just have the one child. All right. And the child is, what, 2 years old, you said now? You can recover from this. Just get your mind right, you know, find your healing, have the right perceptions. Don't let this hit your self-worth. That is the main thing that will concern me. Because if you are battling with any type of codependency here, you're going to really feel like you're worthless based off of how he treated you. He is the worthless one for how he treated you. You being on a receiving end of it just speaks to you having low self-esteem. Okay. So that is the main thing, you know, detaching from how he treated you versus what you're truly worth. You know, narcissists exploit people for not knowing their worth. They exploit people for not knowing their worth. He's seen everything you was worth, and he wanted to secure a position to be able to have a connection with you so that he can get whatever he wants to get, you know, out of the picture. I don't know if you supported him financially, if you gave him expensive gifts or anything like that, but that's what he wants from you. And just because he proposed to this new girl does not make him, trust me, he doesn't love her either. He's just doing what he has to do to get what he needs to get from her as well. You know, this guy is just a complete low-life scumbag, proposing to her in a shirt that you gave him. Like, he don't give. You never hear somebody say they don't give no fucks. Narcissists typically don't give any fucks. They just don't. And that is like the harshest reality for people to swallow and really step out of resistance to after they experienced this love bomb with them and was sold on that. All right. But this is what I tell people all the time. There has to be a certain part of you that nobody on this fucking earth has access to. Okay. Nobody. And that part of you holds your self-worth, your self-confidence. It holds your voice and your essence, and the majority of your heart, actually. You can care about people. You can love them without completely enmeshing with them and losing your individuality. You can love them and attach as needed and detach as needed. You know, that's an issue that a lot of people have, knowing how to attach as needed and detach as needed. All right, now it's time for you to detach from him. He is lame as fuck. Like, that was some really real fuck shit that he did to you. You know, and yes, you played your parts in that because you weren't in your strength and you were operating out of your shadow side in this relationship. So figuring out what was it, you know, because you had some other things going well in your life, but then you had this part of your life where you needed some help, and he exploited. He shined a light on that. And all you have to do now is work on that. You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. And you're going to get back on your feet the way that you need and everything. But never let this clown weasel back in and get none of it, okay? And I mean none of it. And look at him. He's repeating the cycles. You said he got another girl pregnant shortly after you left. Like, girl, you see what you're dealing with right here. This person is very, very reckless. Thank God that the season is over and that you just have the one child. Okay? You can, like I said, you can recover from this, and you can recover on so many levels. You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Just always see him for what he is and let go of the hope that he's going to be daddy of the year. Okay, of course he's going to play daddy of the year to other people's kids. He's trying to get next to the supply. Let her lose that supply and not have it. He will leave those kids, and those kids will be asking that woman about him for the next 6 months. Oh, whatever happened to Mr. Such and Such? And she's going to feel horrible about it because she's going to see how fake and phony that was of him. None of it is sincere. Because if it was, he would love his own kids. He's not going to love other kids and not love his own child. Not when it's real. So trust me, everything they do is with a motive. All right. All right. I think that I pretty much addressed everything in here. Okay. So you said you were living the pretty fast life and you wasn't ready. And I think that's true. And that's what really got you jammed up, sweetie. Living the fast life. See, you can't live the fast life without knowing it very well. See, some people can live this fast life, but, they up to speed. They understand what the fast life come with. And, even they could get caught up, honestly. So we have to slow down. Sometimes we have to really slow down. And guess what? That's what God did to you. I'm going to tell you that right now. Sometimes when we move in a little bit too fast, he will provide the opportunity for us to slow down. And a baby will slow you down. Because trust me, when that morning sickness and the energy that child is pulling while it's growing in your womb and all of that sort of thing, giving birth, trying to recover. Look, these are all situations that require you to have several seats. But he did that so that you can get your mind right too. Okay? So don't get bitter about having this child by this fuck nigga. I'm telling you that right now. Don't get bitter about it because it's the yin and the yang. And I tell this to women who get pregnant by narcissists. You won't have the opportunity to have misery without having joy. I know that baby is probably giving you so much love, okay? I've made a lot of videos on co-parenting, which you're not with a narcissist, parallel parenting. Let's just edit that. And how to deal with them. It's going to require you to detach, all right? You don't owe him nothing. I don't know how things are set up here, as far as custody. I know I don't hear no mention of a court or anything like that, but you don't owe him nothing, all right? You can have another positive male figure in your life and in your child's life, okay? God can provide that. You just be ready to receive that person, all right? Get your mind right. And I do offer one-on-one coaching to help you with that. We can go a little further here and talk about your upbringing and really get to the bottom of this and start getting you up to speed here, all right? YouTube videos are great, but that one-on-one coaching is going to be priceless for you, all right? You can go to my website, LakiaCrawford.com, get you some bundles because you're going to need more than one session, sweetie. Most survivors do. Rarely do a person just get one coaching session. If you get the bundles, you'll save by getting more. I have 10 hours of coaching sessions for the price of 7. And we can use them in half an hour, 1 hour increments. Sometimes a survivor's first session might run 3 of those 10 hours be used up because they have so much to say, And, I can oblige people in that way as long as, my schedule is permitted. I can do that. We can take as long as it needs. All right. But get yourself some help and build your support system. Start changing your perceptions. All right. And like I said, detach from how he treated you versus your true worth. All right. All right. I hope this helps you and any other person that has found themselves in this situation. All right. So keep doing the work, guys. Never give up on yourself. And until next time, please take care.